This is this is like a vlog. I want to talk about a bunch of things. I lived in the woods by myself in a cabin for 4 years, and before that I had a girlfriend that I had known from high school that I was with for exactly 2 years. And before that, I was living in Miami doing things I never thought as a young honors student I'd ever do. Basically getting involved in the pimp game. And the only reason why was because I have I'm a clinical psychopath and I have bipolar disorder. So it's almost like I have a split personality or something like that, but it's not. It really is who I am. And my philosophy is these people, these street people, these criminals that everyone's so afraid of, they're stupid. They're like, they had a shitty upbringing and their Maslow hierarchy of needs is completely thrown off when they're desperate people. And if you go into, their world and their situation and, a life of crime or whatever, and, you come from a good background like I do. I'm suburban. My dad was a professor and my mom was law enforcement. And if you just go into the game, or whatever you want to call it, stealing shit, ripping people off, whatever the fuck you want to call it, being a player, whatever playing people, fucking fooling people. You come from my position in my life, my education, I went to college briefly. You're gonna have, a head start in that world. You can't be afraid for 1 second to get the shit kicked out of you or even to die. It doesn't even matter how tough you are. You can just like lie about it. And if you have the kind of like manipulation skills, patience, and the ability to keep your mouth shut, you might find that living in the underworld or making your money that way or whatever is actually, it's a lot easier and a lot less stress than being just with the white man's dick in your mouth. At this point in my life, I would say yes, I still am a scam artist, I still am a criminal, but it's not glamorous for me anymore. It had like a novelty when I was a kid, like I had done something I never thought I'd done before, like someone that was afraid of flying planes and became a pilot or something like that. When I was walking in the streets of Miami with a baser hoe and cornrows, smoking crack in the fucking streets and fucking balling around, 22 years old, it was almost like I was an anthropologist. But it became who I am. And now I sit here alone all day because I'm not part of normal society anymore. I'm not a civilian anymore. I've seen what people watch on TV, I guess. I can't enjoy going to a strip club. I can't enjoy getting an escort because I've seen behind the scenes. I've been behind the scenes at Disney World too. It's just a fucking strip mall, and prostitute women are desperate women for the most part. Sometimes you'll find like a graduate student who's basically coming from the same position that I came from, as a tourist or an anthropologist, but you know, if you ask me, I mean, if you get an escort or you go to a strip club or something like that, it's kind of pathetic, and I would just never admit to it. Uh, you know, people got to get off the way they got to get off. I get off the way I get off. You know, but people are into what they're into, and I just, you know, a guy that buys hookers and shit like that is just a piece of shit to me. He's just a pathetic piece of shit. I would so much rather jerk off than fuck some nasty bitch. Um, and the same thing would be true if I was gay. This is not a misogynistic thing. It has nothing to do with women as a whole. I don't think you can judge women as a whole. You can't judge men as a whole. I'm so different than most men that I know that I couldn't even be called a man. I feel like I don't know what I am, but if I'm going to be judged by, you know, my sex organs, I don't see how that has anything to do with my personality except for maybe like testosterone. But even some women have more testosterone than men have, so it's, I guess basically what I'm trying to say is I'm at a point in my life where the only person I'll ever trust is myself. And I have a lot of hatred inside of me, and I've lost all my patience with people. If they fuck with me, I annihilate them to the point where I fucking burn their bodies and piss on their ashes just because I got a lot of pain inside. And I was a little fat kid, and now I got a dad body, and I don't want people to fuck with me because I still am a little fat kid, but I'm a little fat kid with a dad body. So don't fucking fuck with fat kids, you fucking motherfucking picking on a mentally ill man. Alright, I lost my shit for a second there. I want to keep going. I guess I'm going to talk about mental illness and therapy. I first went to therapy when I was 9 years old because my parents didn't want to tell me, they wanted a safe environment to tell me they were getting a divorce. That was the day before school started in the 4th grade, which is like late August. And then my mom told me that she was a lesbian on my 10th birthday, which was like, I guess, a month later. And my therapist in downtown Tampa was a lesbian, I found out as well. And they went into graphic detail, basically explaining to me what lesbian sex is. And, you know, at 9, 10 years old, or yeah, just turned 10 years old, she told me at the mobile station. Just kind of a weird thing. You know, it was just kind of a weird thing to get. I mean, and then I found porno that same year, and, you know, it's up until that point in my life, I was in student council, gifted program. I have an 147 IQ, which I think it's higher than that because I was dressed as the fat jolly butcher Samuel Blunt from Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, Wonderful Sausage. And I remember a couple questions that I basically just, like, I knew the answer to, but I stumbled a lot. Apparently, like, the human mind, you know, we can swing from trees like a chimpanzee, but the difference between us and a chimpanzee is a chimpanzee doesn't have something in its mind telling them that they can't do it. That's what human beings have, reasoning. I almost feel like I was born with too much of that. But I'm alive, and I've survived. And that's, I guess, to me at this point in my life, I don't believe in any form of therapy, psychology, anything except for self-talk. And it it is survival of the fittest, but um, survival equals dominance. If you survive, even if you're a little tiny old lady, you're dominating because you're still on this earth. You know, there was big tough kids from my school and they're dead. Drug overdoses, shit like that, suicide. They they didn't make it. They were not the dominant species. Um, People tell me I have bipolar. People tell me I'm schizophrenic. People tell me I'm schizoaffective. People tell me I'm a psychopath, a sociopath, whatever you want to call it. Uh, I don't even know anymore. I smoke weed and I take Wellbutrin, which is basically cocaine pills. And that's the only thing that works for me. And that's the thing about being mentally ill, is that you have to find what works for you, because no one is going to give you the answers, because maybe the whole reason why you're mentally ill in the first place is that you're having existential anguish and you realize that life is absurd. And that's the point where you either commit suicide, you surrender faith in God, or you become your own God. I have surrendered faith in God. I'm a Rastafarian man, which means I'm a Christian. And it's everything to me. I'm not preaching at all. I'm saying you do one of those three things. If you have reached a point in your life where you realize that no one's going to give you the answer. Personally, in my life, I've begun to appreciate the simple things. And the things I took for granted. And just the feeling inside. I spent so many years just being dead inside. And when I got my new house and I went out in my yard with my pets, I felt all of our psychic energy expand. And we had been in this cabin in the woods for 4 years and enclosed ourselves. And trust me, I mean, I could have stayed there for the rest of my life, but I got a DUI. And I have a warrant right now, and I can't drive my car. And now I live in a town where I don't need a car. And I hate cars. And I get everything I need to get done on my bike. I get a ride from people sometimes, but eliminate things in your life that cause you stress. I mean, I don't like cars because I don't like carrying an ID, because I don't like the cops to know who I am, because they don't have the right to know who I am. And that's why I like owning a house too, because they don't have the right to come in my house unless they have a search warrant. They don't have the right to do a goddamn thing, and nobody should be bullied around by them. And I think the reason why they show these people getting shot on TV and all that kind of shit, it has nothing to do with like changing anything. It has to do with conditioning the people into accepting that the fact that they cannot fight back against the police, and that isn't true. Fight back. You don't have to use your fists. Use your brain to fight them back. I got blamed for a bomb threat senior year, and I had the cop fired. He's fucking moonlighting the next time I saw him in the fucking Centro Ybor by the movie theater. Because I stood up for what I believe. They had some fucking guy come in from the school board, since it is against the law for the cops to coerce a child into doing a false confession. I had some piece of shit come in and bully me as a child. And you know what? That's the most fucked up thing there is on this earth. There's no such thing as adults. Children just grow up, and they're bullies when they're children, and they grow up to be bullies, and they bully children. And they keep that fucking cycle going forever. I don't believe in punishment. I don't believe in discipline. I don't believe in shit. I believe in an inner grace that you develop while you're growing. And if some piece of shit wants to get in the way of that, as far as I'm concerned, they can fucking die. Anyone who fucks with a child deserves to die. I wish I could kill him myself. The justice system is fucked. There is no justice. There's only dominance. If you give in to the Babylon theory, fucking bend over, spread your butt cheeks, and let someone take over your life for you, you're codependent. The reason why I'm alone is because I got to a point where I got sick of people dominating me. To the point where I'd rather be alone. And there's a saying, it's better to be alone than in bad company. And I swear to God, the town I live in Bloomington, Indiana, there's a lot of political activity. I swear half the people I know are undercover FBI agents and cops. I got people coming to my house every fucking day, ringing my doorbell, which I have a camera on, and I have pictures of you coming to my house every fucking day. I don't know what you're trying to do, but you're not coming into my house and you're not coming into my life. And you know, human interaction is an odd thing. And I'm very forgiving of people, just everyday people, but I'm not forgiving of cops. Because they want me to get raped. Basically, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to put me in a cage where I can get raped and I can get HIV. That's what prison is. It's also slavery. Enslaving black people. Because there's people who still want to do that. And they're doing it. Worse than ever. There's more black men in prison than there ever were slaves. And they're fucking making brooms for Walmart and shit like that because most prisons are privately owned. So if you want to survive in this country, you gotta stay one step ahead of the rest. Because go to Europe and you'll realize that this is the Wild West. And you see those fucking green dollar bills instead of that funny money they got over there. You take out your fucking lasso, and if the cops are coming after you, go to a different state, and then go to a different country. Because there is no fucking justice. There's no rehabilitation in this country. Maybe in Europe or something. But, you know, put somebody away for the rest of their fucking life for selling weed or anything. Like most civilized countries, and I wouldn't call this country a civilized country, I would call this Lord of the Flies. Most civilized countries, the maximum amount of time you can spend in prison is 21 years. Even for murder. Mass murder. Anything. And, the only reason why people commit mass murder is because they want to be famous. Fuck you. Fuck the Batman murderer. Fuck the copycats. Fuck Columbine. Fuck all of you. You go to Hollywood and fucking get a real job. If that's what you want so bad, to be famous. If that's... Go be in a commercial. Because people's fucking lives belong to them, and their bodies belong to them. All answers are within. You know exactly who you are. You wake up every day with you.
You know who's tougher than you, and you know who isn't. And you know there's people fucking with you that shouldn't be fucking with you because you're tougher than them. And even if you aren't, you can pretend like you are. And if you feel disempowered, just act fucking crazy. Because everyone has something about them that is crazy. A dirty little secret that they don't share with other people. For instance, the other day, I picked up $60 worth of edible bugs. The United States is one of the only countries that doesn't use bug protein as a way to eat. If you're getting fucked with by vegetarians, eat a cheeseburger in front of them. If you're being fucked with by a man who's very manly, masculine and proud, and all these things, act gay. If he starts beating you up, grab his dick, start stroking it. You get what I'm saying? Basically, find people's weakness and exploit it if they fuck with you. Because when someone fucks with you, that means they're taking you into a little bitty war. And the most healthy thing is to ignore them. And to the point where you snap and you can't take it anymore. If you're someone who is more assertive, be more assertive. When I was a kid, this kid watched me get off the bus and start walking home. And he got all his friends to jump me, kick my ass. But I knew that if I fought back, I'd have to deal with the principal, which I didn't give a fuck. Then I'd have to deal with my dad. And that motherfucker was crazy. So I waited until all his friends went away. He kept beating me up. And I just kept walking, crying. Eventually he's hit me one too many times, and it's like something unleashed. I don't know. It's like an out-of-body experience. Similar to the Christmas Story. Call me a Brandon Goon. Because one of us was at Prank Fest and smashed through a wall and then beat up the entire band. His hero is gone. So someone got on stage and said, "That's why we don't let those Brandon Goons come play. I'm from Brandon, Florida, and Del Rico, Gibsonton, the Keys, and Miami." But now that I live in the Midwest, Instead of people calling me gay, they're afraid of me. Because everyone's castrated up here. They can't handle the rebel yell. So it's all about perception. And if you dig even deeper, you'll realize we're not different things. We're all part of the same thing called humanity. So we're on an equal playing field. No one is better than anyone else. No one's tougher than anyone else. No one's anything more than anyone else, except for the limitations they put on themselves. And if someone's fucking with you, figure out their Achilles tendon. Or give away yours so they can keep poking the bear until you eat them.
This is about people who think they're tough. You know, being tough and taking things over and like pretending like you have a big dick and everything like that is actually a sign of a defense mechanism. You have serious problems with your own self-esteem, and you find these people that are bullying, busting your balls every fucking second, and as soon as you bust their balls back, they act like a little bitch. And you know, there's this guy I've known for over 10 years. In the time I've known him, he's taken me on tour in my fucking car, pretending like my band was going on tour with him, and really didn't book me one single motherfucking show. And then I leave to New York City. He wants to fuck my girlfriend. I want her out of my hair. So I gave him a favor. I said, go ahead. Because she would fuck anyone. She was cheating on me. She was really hot. But you know what? Loyalty, it means a lot more than looks. And then when I get back, I find out he's fucking my sister too when I'm in New York. So, and I'm still nice to this guy. You know, 10 years go by, and he has a fucking skate ramp in his backyard. And he's fucking busting people's balls all day long. Call me big head, you know, just like, oh, just busting balls. And I love verbal abuse. I love giving it and I love taking it. But when I mention one little thing about how he tripped on shrooms and accused my friend's husband of wanting to fuck his girlfriend, and I just made fun of him a little bit about it, he acts like a little bitch. And he starts comparing me to this crazy fucking dude, Gabe Rivera, who, if you ever want to look him up, Gaberevera, he's all over YouTube. He's nothing like me. So I tell him that, you know, I'll fucking kill him. And I'll tell him I'll kick his ass, and I challenged him to a fight. And he told me to meet him at his house. And the second I walked out the door, he called me, and he was driving away. Because he's a little pussy-ass bitch. And then he gets a flat tire to add insult to injury. Today, I'm walking to the Beeline. You can see on my videos I have a POV of me skating on the Beeline. I see him outside his house smoking a cigarette. I look at him like this. He doesn't do shit. Cowers in fear. So that's the second time he bitches out. I'm at my mom and my sister's house taking a shower because my gas is shut off.